Hey everyone, welcome to the Big Fitness Show, episode 16, outdoor fitness. And it's pretty appropriate. We're doing the outdoor fitness episode as tornadoes are coming through Florida. Perfect time to get outdoors and start working out, right, Mike? Co-host Mike
Yeah.
Behrens here. Yep.
Holy
Time the
smokes, I had
perfect
no
time.
idea.
A tree almost fell on my brand new truck yesterday.
Oh gosh, that would
They
have been
ripped the
terrible.
gate apart, ripped the gate
Really?
of the complex, which they literally just fixed less than a month ago, like $17,000. Somebody ran
Oh
into the
no.
gate and curled it around. And my wife came home yesterday and said, "Hey, the gate's destroyed again." And I was like, "Wow." So the maintenance
Oh
guy said
wow.
that there was it was strong winds. I don't know if it was technically a tornado, but
Yeah.
literally all the trees are like sideways in certain directions. And
Oh
yeah, the
no.
gates tore up. So outdoor fitness. Here we go.
Yes, perfect time of year for
I was saying that one
it.
in our pre-production meeting. You didn't get your reaction.
Oh, that's good, man. I had no idea. That's crazy. You're gonna have to get a third garage to park your truck in there. Protect it.
Well, funny you should say that. I'm considering it.
Yeah. Hey, man, I would.
Yeah, everything's good right now, but there's lots of trees that are just kind of sideways. But I was thinking about that as I was walking around. Said outdoor fitness. This is gonna the timing couldn't be better. But we do, like, we live near a beach. We live near lots of nature here in Florida. You live in a beautiful part of the country that you damn near, you have to get outside because
hmm
if you don't do it by a certain month, you're
Yeah.
pretty much homebound no matter what.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, I live in the Midwest in the northern Illinois area, and it's beautiful in the summer, and we're in summer right now. So I mean, it's beautiful out. The weather's it's hot, like it's not too humid or anything like that, and it's a great time to be outside doing some outdoor stuff. And there's a lot of benefits that come with it, and I think that's what we'll get into today is talking about what we do, what we've done in the past, what we like about outdoor fitness, what we don't like about it, all the things that come into play here. Maybe share some of our favorite stuff that we do for outdoor fitness. It's kind of a broad category, but be a fun conversation, I think.
I'll put on my readers so I can say that the accountant in me loves outdoor fitness because now I can write off the Honda Ridgeline as I travel. I could shoot segments and all this stuff of traveling to the beach and the other places. But that is one of the reasons that I got the Ridgeline and I got a pickup truck instead of, I was looking at a Tesla or other types of vehicles because this does open up opportunities to take equipment and other
Mm,
products to the beach and other outdoor environment, locations that just, add another layer of interest to the, every week or every, couple times a week from the garage gym is great. But if you can bring a product to, the beach, to a hotel, traveling for vacation, that's really where the powerful features of these products really come into play.
yeah. Yeah. And I think the portable products taking them out. I want to get a truck for that exact reason, just so I can be like you.
Don't eat too much, but you end up with a deadly infection. I take the stuff I lucked out with.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, but yeah, I mean, the getting outside and getting your fitness on and when you're outdoors, I think that there is just some unrealized benefits to it, some stuff that's just crazy. So let's start by talking about kind of what we've done in the past, what we do to stay consistent. I know for you, to put you on the spot because you like to do that to me. Now that in your recovery, how is the beach and outdoor fitness helping you with your recovery? Let's start there.
Well, let's start with the fact that I was bedridden for weeks. I was in a
Mhm.
hospital for another week. I was tied to an IV line. I couldn't get in the water. I was so limited, not even just with not being able to train, work out, sweat, do these things, but I really wasn't outside of a short walk or a short exposure to the elements. I really had to be careful about my pick line, and which
Mhm.
people, if you don't know what a pick line is, it goes basically near your heart and goes through my arm. And it's basically a way to put IV antibiotics or push antibiotics into your body very quickly and effectively. But that was part of the fear, not to mention, obviously, I couldn't walk, I couldn't do much of anything. And then when I could, my energy levels were super low. So for
Mhm.
me, it's just like a whole new world and a whole new
Mhm.
experience. Like I'm reborn again in a way when I'm allowed to go outside and just
Yeah.
exist, not much less actually take equipment, work out, pick up different stuff without it destroying my back and being able to go out there. Now, I mean, we'll talk about all the other health benefits, but I think
Sure.
mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, it's had a massive positive effect to be able to, because it was taken away. And then
Yeah,
that's what people should think about. Like, don't take it for granted because it might be taken away one day. Then you better double and triple down on making the time to get outside and do stuff.
totally. Totally. And I think to, for you in that specific, yeah, I can't even imagine how it felt to get back on the beach the first time. You know, like I'm sure that was pretty exciting to have happen.
Well, I
I know,
cry
like,
just like I do every day. You know, not just when I watch The Chosen, but that happens every time I watch The Chosen too.
yeah, same.
They were
Yeah.
healing people yesterday on the what is it, clean part one and part two of season three. We
Oh,
watched
I haven't
part
watched them
one.
yet. Well, I've only watched part one, so yeah.
Yeah, well, I didn't watch part two yet, so we're on the
Okay.
same exact
Got
episode. But
it.
yeah, the bleeding woman, and then the way she was
Yeah,
rebuked, and I'm like, oh, part two, Jesus is gonna. I've seen the clip. He's gonna heal
sure.
her, and even just thinking about part two as I'm watching part one made me emotional. So,
Sure.
but that's the way I feel when I get to go outside. That's the way I
Sure.
feel even in a tornado or any kind of weather. The fact that I can be outside and breathe fresh air, and there's all these different benefits. I don't know. This could, quite honestly, this could be one of the shortest episodes where we just kind of blow through it, or we can
Mhm.
go down into the mitochondria of everything. And this thing could be a 2 hour episode because the benefits of getting outside for so many
Yeah.
different reasons. And if anybody, just the last point on that, there was a lot of people that weren't allowed to go outside for a year or two.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So think
Yep.
about how, if you're not taking advantage of the fact that now you won't be arrested for going on the beach,
Sure.
you should be taking advantage of that.
Totally. And I think the benefits that to outdoor fitness is things that people you don't even think about it, but there's that connection to the earth, without getting too frou-frou on you. There is a real connection there. And there's a practice that I do consistently. It's called grounding, and just getting outside, walking, putting your feet on the concrete, putting your feet on the dirt, putting your feet in the grass. There's a difference in the, like I don't know that I could say that it's a drastic change, but there's something with the circadian rhythms and things like that where you just connect to the earth and charges you in a way that is different. And so then taking that and carrying that over into fitness outside, I'll be honest, I don't do a ton of fitness outside because it's just convenient and easy to have a gym at home and to work out in the gym. And I like lifting weights and it's convenient for me. I don't have a truck like some people on the show to move my equipment around real easy. But when I do get outside, there's something to the fresh air. There's something to being in a different environment. I do a lot of hiking. I plan to this summer. We just moved to a new area that has a lot more trails and paths to go hiking on and things to explore. And so I told my kids that when school was over, that this over the summer, we were going to go out and we're going to explore and we're going to check out all the different trails and things to do. And so that's something we have a couple that we go to consistently that are just, easy trails for the kids. But I have plans to go out and explore more trails and do more hiking and really focus on just that to go back to last week's episode of the cardio, get some cardio outside, but via hiking and climbing and trying different things that way to get a different type of fitness modality going instead of just focused on the weights. And then what it does is it improves your overall fitness because you're trying something different. You're getting outside, you're breathing different air, you're getting fresh air, and you're out in the trees and doing it with music, no music. It doesn't matter. I mean, probably best to not have the music so you can connect a little more with the outside. But there's just something different about being outside and getting in the trees. And that's for me, that's like my go-to type of fitness outside. I'm not someone that is gonna go work out in the cul-de-sac where I live and show off to the whole block that I can lift weights. That ain't gonna happen. I ain't
So
gonna
you're
do
just not an alpha. Is that what you're trying to say?
that. I guess. So I'm not going to do that. And but I will go on a hike and I will go on a bike ride with my family. I think that's a great thing that we do as a family. We'll go on family bike rides, and my wife and I'll go on walks outside just to take a break, to get some sun. In the Midwest, you can't do it all year. So in the summertime, you got to maximize when you're outside and maximize the time that you're doing it, because there's some pretty cold days in the winter. You just don't want to go outside, go for a walk. So that's how, I mean, so that's how I do all my outdoor fitness is primarily it's via hiking, bike riding, walking. And I stick to that. I would consider doing some other stuff, but nothing in like the on the street or in the driveway. I don't take my weights out there and lift weights in the driveway. It's just not something I'm
You
into.
ever just open the garage door up so you can get some fresh air in there?
No, because then I feel like you're on display. Like I feel like, okay, now you've got your garage door open and you're just putting it on display that you're and to me, I don't like to be on display like that. I like to just go in and do my thing, and I don't want people to know that I'm working out, Like I'll work out, and if you can just know that I'm in there doing it, you don't need to watch me do it.
Yeah. I just like sometimes, I mean, we work out so early in the morning and there's animals that can come around, nocturnal animals. So I got to be careful
Sure.
about having a garage door up. So it's a safety issue I don't care, but my wife doesn't want me eaten by a bobcat, I guess. So
Yeah.
that's good. I guess she loves me. But
Probably wouldn't be a good thing
yeah,
if that happened.
I'm skin and bones anyway. So unless they can pick their teeth with it, they're not going to eat flesh anyway. But
Sure.
getting outside for me, obviously too, like a different type of content as a content creator to be able to get outside
Mhm.
and I have a hand truck. I can even take the fight camp punching bag, just even outside just to get the free tan or doing whatever. I could it opens up so many more possibilities of seeing things in different environments. So from a business standpoint, it's kind of expanded Stevie Richards Fitness with the content,
Yeah.
but deep down, like even just to move to Florida from Georgia was a whole jump in quality of life because it's a concrete jungle in Smyrna and Atlanta and
Mhm.
all that stuff. You got to really travel to get up to the mountains. Here, we're 10 miles away from the beach, where
Sure.
we have the springs, we have the trails, we have even playgrounds that have exercise equipment. So if anybody out there, if you have access to a park that has those body weight or those hydraulic type of
Yeah.
workout pieces, you have a free gym
Yeah.
outdoors that you can go and just do that and get your walk and your strength training in at the same time. Take advantage of that. Your tax is paid for it anyway, so just go use it.
Yeah. My wife sometimes, or we have only a couple times. There's a park across the way from where we live that has exactly that has like the body weight stuff, so you can do pull-ups and whatever. And it's kind of cool. They have little they have the signs that have movements that you can do. So if you don't know what you're doing and you go to one of those, you can look at it and be like, oh, I can do that. I can do that. And this is here. And so what we'll do, we've done it. We don't do it a lot, I'll be honest, is we've take a bike ride, go over for the bike path, and then stop and do some pull-ups and let the kids play around a little bit while we do maybe some crunches or something like that. Nothing too crazy, but it's there. And it's definitely something that, now that you brought that up and reminded me, I think we should absolutely take advantage of it this summer to do a little bit more, because it's there. You might as well use it, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like I said, your taxes paid for it anyway. So you might,
Yeah.
you essentially paid for your own outdoor gym membership. But man, I mean, it's just there's a lot of stuff. I mean, we can even talk about just not even working out, but getting out in the sun and getting
Yeah.
vitamin D. And
Hmm.
right there, you're ahead. You don't have to take a D supplement if you're getting out all the time and doing those kinds of things. So right at the base, if you're just sitting on a bench outside, even on a cloudy day, you're getting vitamin D
Yeah.
in your system, which everybody, especially in those 2 years,
Sure.
everybody's absolutely deficient at.
Right. Right.
We're both going to get in trouble with this episode.
It's all right. It's fine. I have no problems with talking about the vitamin D that's necessary. Like the studies that are there. It it's a benefit. It's a huge benefit to people, and to shy away from it because there's no money in it is just silly to me. And I think like vitamin D as a supplement is a very low cost thing to produce, and so it's very cheap. So companies don't get behind it because it's just so cheap and it's not a huge moneymaker. But at the same time, like, it genuinely helps people live healthier every single day. And, the benefits are so great to being outdoors, and what the sun can do, and the vitamin D from the sun, and just, like, besides the normal physical health benefits, the mental health benefits are crazy too, because vitamin D, and whatever, don't quote me on the science here, but and we can't trust the science, right? So anyway, the point is, what I'm getting at is, being out in the sun can help with symptoms of depression. I've seen it firsthand. I have people in my life that struggle with depression. In the wintertime, they're completely different human beings than who they are in the summertime, because of, especially in the Midwest, because there's not as much, you don't spend as much time out in the sun, but you get them out in the sun in the summertime, and they're out in the sun all the time, and they're happier, they're healthier, they're feeling better, they're not struggling with depression. And so the outdoor fitness, taking your fitness outdoor 1 day a week, 2 days a week, making sure you get sun every day, if it's out, even if it's not out, or even on a cloudy day, just getting outside, the benefits of that are huge, from a overall health and wellness, from the vitamin D support that you're going to get, from just a circadian rhythm support. Like, if you're having trouble with sleep, getting outside, going out and doing some fitness outside, even if it's just a walk, doesn't have to be like a full-fledged fitness routine. That kind of stuff can help balance and normalize your body so that you can regulate it better, which then might help you sleep better that night. And because you wake up in the morning, you try to get sunlight first thing in the morning. Think about it. Our bodies are naturally accustomed to, back hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, didn't have light bulbs. So we would have to go outside to get the sun, and we would get the sun, and then we would, our rhythms would be normal and everything would be fine. And then when the sun set, we would come inside and everybody would relax, and then you go to sleep, and then you wake up with the sun. Right. And so it's the outdoor fitness benefits are just so drastic, or not. Yeah, drastic. That's a good word for it. You're silly not to take advantage of it and get outside and do some fitness and get connected with nature, I guess is a good way to say that.
I agree. I mean, outdoors doesn't mean going 12,000 feet into the ocean, though. We don't recommend going that far. There's no
Yeah.
sunlight down there anyway, so you're not getting vitamin D.
Yeah. No, that's not a good
A
place to
year
go,
from now,
for
people are
sure.
going to be like, "What are they talking about? What underwater thing?" I mean, it's good right
Yeah.
now for the next couple of days. And,
Yeah. It's in the news right now. And I just pray for those people that are in that sub, because that sucks.
well, it imploded.
Yeah, I know. I
And
know.
so it's,
It
I mean,
sucks.
they're
Yeah.
just, it's unbelievable. That's just,
Yeah.
hey, but you know what? Hey, I mean, that's something, not quite that, but you do have some safety concerns with outdoor fitness too. You need to be
Yeah.
careful of. So I was
Totally.
making a joke, but for a reason,
Yeah.
although
Yeah.
a dark one. I was making, yeah, I was making the joke for a reason, because the parameters and safety concerns with outdoor fitness, especially if you're hooking a TRX up to a tree, if you're doing
Sure.
something on uneven ground, if you're running or hiking or doing whatever,
Hmm.
it's not a treadmill. It's not a gym floor. It's not a cable system
Right.
like I have in mind. You're very much, you have to test out a branch before you throw the TRX over the branch to make sure it can support you. You got to make sure when you're hanging off something or climbing, hiking, that you're not going to roll your ankle. You're not going to, you know, lose a grip on something, because there is an
Yeah.
element of danger. You're not going to fall onto a gym mat. You're falling onto the ground and rocks and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So there might be some negatives where, hey, if you're very fragile, or if you're overcoming a broken leg or something where you might not be as stable, you might want to be careful in those situations.
Definitely. Yeah. That's definitely a topic of risk versus reward with the outdoor fitness. I mean, the risk is definitely greater than just going in your garage gym and working out. I mean, there's risk in the garage gym too, but when you add in all these other elements, there's so much more that you could do. If you're going for a long run or a long bike ride, you could get caught in a storm, you could get caught in a tornado, like in Florida. But I mean, it just, there's certain, a little more planning that has to go into it, I would say, for outdoor fitness, because you've got to know the area you're going. You got to have a general idea. So if you're going on a hike, you could trip and fall. You could fall off the side of a cliff. If you go by yourself, you got to have some form of communication to make sure that your safety concerns are taken into account before you actually go out, and maybe be careful with what you're exploring and things. And yeah, there's a huge chunk. And then to your point of getting eaten by a bobcat, like if you're out in the trees hiking, who knows what's going to come after you at that point. So there's, get some pepper spray or carry a knife or whatever to protect yourself when you're out doing some outdoor fitness like that, I think is a serious concern and a serious issue that you need to say. So what would be some of the other downsides to outdoor fitness? I mean, the safety concerns, I think with hiking, like the animals and bugs and things like that would definitely be something to consider. You don't want to be running around in the trees with your shirt off all the time, because
Well,
who knows
you
what kind of
definitely
ticks and
will,
stuff.
unless you're, alpha neighbor. Uh, but I'm gonna get you in trouble. Hang on. But I also think that, like, if you're going to go out and do any kind of outdoor fitness, and even if you're with somebody, you should let somebody know, a third party
Yeah.
or an outside party, where you are going.
Yeah.
Utilize this thing too, because it
Yep.
has waypoints and GPS and stuff like that. And just for a concern, you want to make sure that wherever you're going, maybe you want to make sure you have a good cell phone signal before you settle down to be like, okay,
Sure.
I'm gonna. So there's probably a good bit of scouting and preparation and
Sure.
recon that go into that. Obviously, if you're going to your park or whatever, or like I have one, near us in the beach that has the body weight stuff with pull up bars and stuff. We're talking about if you're like in the Colorado Rockies, or if you're in the Blue
Yeah.
Ridge Mountains, and like, I've never been to this place, but I'm going to decide to get a workout in. That might, if you're
Yeah.
definitely in the deep woods or something like that, that might not be the best idea.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. But you gotta be careful there. So if you're doing outdoor fitness locally, though, if you're just going in your backyard or whatever, there isn't a ton of risk associated with that, I don't think. I mean, outside of if you're planning on being outside all day, uh, maybe some sunscreen if you burn easily, things like that, little things. One
I'm gonna
downside for
stop you.
me,
I'm gonna stop for in
yeah.
Florida though, because they're doing construction and they're building neighborhoods and doing all this stuff. So what do you think the animals end up doing?
Oh,
The
sure.
gators, the bobcats. There's other big cats and stuff like that. They're coming in people's backyards. So if you're going to work out in your backyard, you still have to be careful, because
Only in
you can't
Florida.
predict when an animal. Yeah, exactly. Hey, it gets your heart rate up and keeps it up.
I
So
bet.
don't worry. Plus, you
Hey,
get some
that's
good.
some great freaking cardio running from a bobcat. I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
that's true.
We
Yeah,
didn't talk about that on last week's episode.
you're only going to do one interval because you're not going to make it to interval number two.
Yeah.
They're going to get you. I don't care how fast you are. I wanted to say too about the negative about outdoor fitness, but I'm gonna let you get your thought, because there is another negative that I think is another segue for our category. But go ahead. I'm
Yeah, I
sorry.
was I was just going to say that the moving equipment, if you don't have a truck, it's hard. You got to be selective with the equipment. You're not going to take your squat rack out back. You're not going to pick up all your 300, 400 pounds of weights. I mean, you can get a workout in the process of doing that, but you're somewhat limited to the equipment, the types of workouts you can do if you're just going to work out in your driveway and stuff like that.
I was literally just going to say that.
Yeah.
I swear, I was going to say the other thing about outdoor fitness is it's not a thing where you're going to bring a cardio machine. It's not a
Yeah.
thing where you can bring a barbell and some weights if you know that you're just going to do deadlifts or do whatever and do some, I've seen people bring trap bars and do farmers walks and deadlifts, do little things like that. My thing would be suspension training. I still stand
Yeah.
by the bull worker, or
Yeah.
the iso chain, even that body blade I just put up the review for.
Yeah.
Um, Resistance bands. You can bring all those 3 or 4 or 5 things with you, and they'll fit in a big duffel bag. You're fine. But
Sure.
you can bring many, many different things, but you may not feel like you're getting enough from those. So that's where,
Right.
and suspension training is limited by the anchor point.
Mhm.
Whereas the isometrics, like the bulwark or the iso chain, and even just a regular resistance band, you can get more benefit out of having things to attach a resistance band to, but
Sure.
full workout without the anchor. So
Yeah.
you might think it's limited, but now I just mentioned like almost a half a dozen things. It's really not even this thing. I got this smart jump rope, even bringing a jump rope.
Oh yeah.
You want
Yep.
to, that's way better cardio than,
Yeah.
maybe not as much as running from a bobcat, but it's, jump rope. You can go to
Yeah.
Walmart, get a $10 jump rope. You're ready to go.
Yeah. Those are great for
You want
outdoor
to lose
for
weight quick.
yeah.
Do some jump rope.
Yeah. Yeah. And talk about it. I did some the other day to finish the set or to finish my workout. I did 5 rounds of a minute on, minute off. So I did 5 minutes of jumping rope. Holy crap, dude. I was smoked by the end of it. I was just like, wow. I didn't think a jump rope would work me out like that, but it kicked my butt. So
Yeah,
yeah.
there's an entire YouTube channel of guys that do jump rope
Oh
that
yeah.
give you pointers and everything. I got to look at that again because I'm not very good.
Yeah,
But
I suck at jump rope. I've tried to do. Have you ever tried to do a double under?
I've done one here and there. The
Yeah.
thing that gets me is number one, I have shin splints, so that's never a good
Ah,
thing. And
sure,
number
sure.
two, I can do feet together, but I can't
Okay.
do the boxing one where you're kind of
Oh,
running in
sure.
place. That's always been my albatross.
Yeah,
I
I'm
can
not
do a
for it.
double
I
under
think
because I can jump and go very quick with the double under, but
yeah, yeah.
it's not a good looking one.
Same. Same. I can do like one, but I can't string two together. There's no way. So I need to practice. But so with the equipment side of it, things that you can use that are great for outdoor fitness, a bicycle, getting a bike, taking a bike out and getting like a hybrid bike. So it's half road bike, half mountain bike, depending on where you're at and where you live and stuff. If you're not around trails and things and can't take your bike on a trail, just get a regular road bike. My wife has a road bike. I have kind of the hybrid bike, and she kind of wishes she had a hybrid bike so we could do more trail rides and stuff too. But I think a bike is a great option to have. Shoot, there was something else that I was thinking of while you were jump rope. The
Well,
I don't know. I lost it. I lost
well, if
it.
you're talking about your wife, maybe we're still on the same page with our like minds. My wife and I like to go out. We haven't done it yet, but I'm going to get some focus pads and we have gloves and to be able to do
Oh,
rounds of boxing on the beach or outdoors and
yeah,
just
that's a good idea.
kind of team up with each other. And you could probably throw in your pull ups and other stuff across at that park and just get
Yeah,
and have the kids get in there and start punching and everybody have fun with it and start boxing.
yeah. Yeah. I just remembered that it wasn't that, but it jogged my memory. Um, did my camera freeze?
Yeah, it jogged your memory to where it froze.
Something up with my camera. Oh, shoot. Hold on a second.
There you go.
There we go. We're back. We're back. No problem. The, well, okay. Now I lost my memory again. Now I'm back. So what I was thinking is, for outdoor fitness, when you're hiking and stuff, like a bike is great piece that I love having. I love riding my bike, but getting like a weighted vest or a ruck pack backpack so that you can add some weight to it and do some hiking with extra weight. That's a good option too. That you could just, if you just get a backpack and load it down with some weights or stuff so that you're hiking, and that's a great way to increase the resistance, make the hiking a little bit harder. So if you don't have crazy mountains or hills or anything like that near you, just adding the weight will increase it. You can get a weight vest that you can wear all the time too, that is, you can add 20-30 pounds to, and then you're makes everything else that much harder to do. If you're doing pull-ups, you're doing things like the jump rope with the weight vest on, it just makes it that much harder. So there's little things that you can do without totally going crazy with equipment, just to make the outdoor piece of it a little bit harder.
I'm going to slightly disagree with that
Okay.
because in my current condition, putting a backpack with weights,
Oh, sure.
a vest, I'm just talking
Yeah.
about if anybody has neck or spine issues or they have some kind of issue where that kind of axial pressure pushing down on your spine could
Good
cause
point.
more harm than good. But you're
Yeah.
right,
Good point.
from a resistance and a difficulty like that wild gym, the one that has the monkey bars too, and the pocket monkey, they have a ruck pack that you can load with their predetermined weights, kind of like
Mm.
what a weighted vest has, but they're thinner kind of inserts. It's excellent. I've had a weighted vest. I got the TRX one. Dude, I thought, 20, like they gave me the 40 pound instead of the 80 pound. I'm like, oh, I can handle the 80 pound. Dude, 20 pounds made me feel like I had 1,000 pounds because I was using a treadmill in the home gym. I was
Yeah.
going outdoors. I was like box. I was doing everything with it. And I was like, this is crazy how much 20 extra. And if you think like, if you've lost weight, like say you've lost 20 pounds, put 20 pounds back on you. And that's what
Yeah,
it felt like when you had
sure,
the extra 20. It's a good wake
sure.
up call.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet. I bet. I'll be honest, I don't have a weighted vest. I've wanted to get one, but I also weigh 270 pounds. So adding another 20 pounds and trying to do pull-ups doing pull-ups at 270 is hard enough. And then adding another 20 pounds to get to 290 would just be it's a lot.
Yeah. And that's another thing too with outdoor fitness. If you're going to travel or you're going to bring it and you're going to drive it somewhere, or even if you're just going to go outdoors, you want it to be as minimalistic as
Yeah,
possible. A weighted
sure.
vest is all right if you can put it on before you leave, it's on and that's it.
Yep.
But if you decide to take that off and carry it, and then you got two or three other pieces,
Sure.
it becomes a not fun experience. And that's what outdoor fitness is supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun, kind of like active recovery. It's supposed to be like skills training or playing. It's not
Yeah.
supposed to be a stressful situation when you do it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. And I think for getting started and beginners and stuff, like the cool thing about outdoor fitness is that you don't have to have any equipment at all if you don't want to. You know, we've done episodes in the past where we've talked about what equipment to use, what pieces to get for your home gym, things like that. If you live in a warmer climate and you've got good weather all year long, you don't have to buy equipment. You don't have to buy anything. Just you can there's walking, there's running, there's riding a bike. I mean, a bike's a piece of equipment, I guess. But walking and running, hiking, you can do those things. If you live near a beach, go swimming. If the water's safe, you know, like there's just so many things that you can do. If you live near a river, go swimming in the river. You know, there's lots of things you can do for free, essentially, by doing some outdoor fitness, and then you can just take that up a notch. So for somebody that's a beginner, just start with walking, start running, figure that out and get comfortable with that. And then if you want to add resistance, if you want to do more workouts, if you want to try different things, then bring in the equipment. But it's just not a necessity to get started with outdoor fitness. And I think to me that's one of the biggest advantages is it's literally free. You don't need anything
Yeah.
to go do it.
And even if you wanted to pay a little bit of something, you can buy like a yoga mat from TJ Maxx for like 10 or
Oh yeah.
20 bucks. Yoga, body weight, if you want to do push-ups, if you want to be able to do floor-based exercises outdoors, but obviously not going to lay on the ground, a good yoga mat, and then getting one that's, not the shorter one, but like a 96, or they have ones that are over 100 inches. That space for what you want to do, especially if you're taller, will
Yeah.
come into play. I was going to say one thing I wanted to get, it's a big piece of equipment, but I've always wanted to do this type of outdoor activity, and that's stand up paddleboarding and yoga
Oh yeah.
paddleboard. And it's going to be insane because the way I work or the way my wife works, the way I work is I would just be like, hey, I'm just going to go, there's a river there or the ocean. I'm just going to go out and do it. My wife's going to make me go to the pool here at the
Mhm.
complex. So they're going to be looking out the window.
Practice it.
But it's a smart idea to be able to do
Yeah.
some training and balance yourself in a pool rather than you fall off and a rip current takes you right out and you're done. I mean, that's it
Yeah.
there. But stand up paddleboarding has always been that one, and it's a huge piece of equipment. So you're even the inflatable one, you're not going to deflate it and reinflate. Once you inflate them, they're staying there like an 8 foot or 10 foot
Sure.
paddleboard. But that would be an activity outdoors that I feel like it'd probably be a good gateway activity, like boogie boarding, to get me into
Mm.
trying surfing to get my balance,
Ah,
because that's something I want to do eventually.
yeah,
I want to
that's
be the
cool.
old.
Yeah.
I want to be the. I see this old guy, he's like probably 70, but he has black hair, black beard. He's jacked, and he does nothing but surf.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
it's like he's. I want to be.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That just, I mean, that's a good point to stand up paddleboarding. Uh, First, if you want to come up here and visit me this summer, my dad actually has one, so I could take you out on it and you could try it. I tried it one time, and I just for some reason I could not get balanced, and so I just gave up right away. Like I tried it for like a minute, and it's like screw this. I think it was because I was with my siblings and their kids and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not going to look like a hole in front of everybody. So I just got down. But he has one. But then another thing too with that, kayaking, things like that too. My dad has a couple kayaks and we go out kayaking. That's a great workout because you're rowing, and a kayak's a little different than like a traditional rower, but doing a kayak and going for
Like an
long.
air bike, sort of.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, yeah. So it would be, that's another great option too. You can go on long rows with a kayak. You can go on a long ride there. I mean, they're a lot of fun. You can use the current a little bit to carry you, and so it's a leisurely activity, but you can row against the current too and get a real good workout in if you wanted.
Yeah. And we haven't done it because there's gators around here, so we got to figure out what gators are. There's a couple of places people go to. I know you can.
Sure.
Florida's no joke when it comes to you got to be aware of everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
even now, like even on the beach, I think we just passed Portuguese man of war time on the sand. So we got a good
Yeah.
we have a good cycle of like wildlife. We just don't want to run into them at 4 in
Sure.
the morning while we're working out. So that's one activity. Outdoor fitness, I can't say that there's a whole lot of. I think what we're talking about is there's no cons to it. There's just certain information you need to be smartened up to before you decide to go into. You have to be realistic with your expectations. But there's people that are in incredible shape that have
Mhm.
no gym memberships that just basically, like I said, this guy that surfs all the time looks jacked
Mhm.
like anything. And he literally tells people he does nothing but that. And I
Sure.
believe it's a lifestyle. So getting
Yep.
out there, getting the sun, getting exercise, like you said, it's not easy to stand up balanced. He's essentially doing a burpee to get up to a standing position in the surfboard. Those
Sure.
people are in better shape than any of us who just own a regular gym and work out every day. They have what kind of like that country strength, but in a
Yeah.
peak way.
Yeah. No, for sure. For sure. There's so many athletes that don't ever, I mean, think about it. Triathletes, they run, bike, and swim. Those are all outdoor activities. They don't have a gym membership, and that's all they do. Runners, people who run marathons and 5Ks and half marathons and stuff, they don't have to have a gym membership, and they get a lot of enjoyment out of it, and are can be in great shape, have great cardiovascular health, and no gym membership needed. It's all outdoor, and it's I got a guy that lives on my block that is out running every single day. Every single day. He ran twice yesterday and it was 90 degrees. I'm like, all right, bro. Good for you, buddy.
Is he an influencer?
No, I wouldn't call him an influencer, but he's definitely a runner. I mean, he's uh, just got a body type of a runner, and just he just quietly goes and runs. I mean, I don't know what he does. I can't say I've really ever talked to him other than just a hey, how you doing type thing, and that's it. So, um,
I
yeah.
have a clue. I have a clue because I'm the same type. He may have like gotten stressed out by something in the afternoon and he's like, I gotta go run. Because that's the
Could
way
be.
I can get in the afternoon if everything's just kind of chaotic and out of control. I feel like the only place I can go to that kind of I've been
Mm,
better about that, obviously, because my energy, but
sure.
yeah, it's just like if everything gets out of control. And that's another thing about outdoor fitness is
Mm,
you're literally, these walls here in the studio are your thing. If you spend all day in there, that's not healthy.
yeah.
Getting out, you reset your mind, you reset your perspective. If I have trouble, like I've been having trouble with the vibe board video, we have trouble, you have a creative block going on, get
Yeah.
outside, disconnect, ground, do your
Yeah.
thing. Oh, speaking of grounding,
Mhm.
my wife and I have considered getting the mat for our bed, and then the grounding wire goes outside the window into the ground. Have you ever seen that?
Oh, I've heard about him, but
You
I've
get eight
never.
hours of exposure
Mm.
to that stuff.
Yeah, I think
People
there's
are
a
scared
whole
by it.
new wave. Yeah, there's a whole new wave of learning and science and studies and things to be done around that, with grounding and red light therapy and all this kind of stuff. There's just like a whole new wave of things that when you think about it though, like go back hundreds of years. Duh. Grounding makes a lot of sense. We walked around on the ground all the time. We didn't have this concrete everywhere, right? So it just, but I think that there's more studies that are going to be done to just show how and effective it is. And like I've done grounding and try to like in the wintertime, it's tough. I will go out in the snow sometimes and walk in the snow
Mm.
barefoot just cause it's part of like the grounding and cold plunge at the same time, but I like it because it just makes me, there's like a refresh, like a, okay, like it kind of wakes me up, kind of makes me like, I take cold showers in the mornings sometimes too. I haven't been lately. But the grounding, the cold showers just kind of wakes me up, makes me feel a little connected, helps me sleep a little bit better because I'm just getting my circadian rhythm set. So it wakes me up in the morning and then I kind of go tackle the day. And I really like it when in the mornings when I, and it, this, I think this is in part with just being outside too. Take a cold shower in the morning, get my workout in. After my workout, while I'm drinking my protein shake, I'll go out and I'll walk around the yard and just kind of check the garden and check things out around the house and whatever, and spend 10, 15 minutes outside. And those mornings, man, I just feel like ready to tackle the day. Helps, like, it takes a few minutes to help clear the brain, which I don't know if that's the grounding necessarily, or if it's the 10 to 15 minutes outside, the 10 to 15 minutes of quiet where nobody's bothering me, like all of that together really makes me feel ready to take on the day.
Yeah, we still like to keep things simple, but we're fascinated by. I got a couple of red light therapy devices. I'm going to start testing those, but to be able to kind of frame all this stuff in a very the grounding's different because
Yeah,
everybody can
sure.
understand that sneakers and shoes weren't really sneakers. I don't even think were invented till like the 1960s or something
Yeah, I
like
don't
that.
know.
So
Sure.
there was a lot of people walking around barefoot until
Sure.
recent history. They
Sure.
were
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
they were wearing shoes for dress or whatever. But I think a lot of people were just barefoot when they were just
Yeah.
casual. So
Yeah.
getting back to that, I need to do a lot more of that because when we walk on the beach, there's no greater feeling than just the water hitting your feet, the
Mhm.
sand, all that stuff. Even just the salt air in my hair for the rest of the day
Sure.
makes me feel like I live a life that I've always dreamed of.
Ah, sure. Yeah, I get you. I get you. Yeah, that connection with your feet. I mean, your feet are such a, maybe this is a future episode for us. Your feet are such a big,
You have Tony
important
Atlas
part.
on for that.
Sure. And the couple years ago, I realized with toes and your feet, it is so uh you restrictive to be in shoes all the time. And so like people have feet issues, have bunion issues, all this kind of stuff because of the shoes that we wear. And so like you can see some posts if you just Google it, like shoes and toe spacers and things like that. So I'll actually use toe spacers at the end of the day where I've had my shoes on all day. Most of the time I try to stay barefoot, try to let my toes breathe and let them have space. But think about it. Like if you put your hand up, your hand's got natural space, right? But now think about it in a shoe. Like it's all pinched together. So then you're not going to walk around with your hand like this all the time. So why do we put our feet in that situation all the time? So when your feet should have a natural spread to them, just like your hand should. And I'm not kidding, man. If I have to wear shoes all day long, I'll put my toe spacers on before I go to bed, and it just spreads out my toes, and my toes go from like this to this, and it just feels, my feet feel so much better when I do that. So that's another topic for another day, but part of the grounding and the outdoor fitness and getting outside barefoot is a huge piece that maybe we can talk about in the future.
Yeah, I will not. I'm even trying to figure out a way to wear my sneakers as little as possible when I'm working
Yeah,
out. And obviously, it's kind of impossible with gym equipment, talk about cardio and
sure.
stuff. But
Sure.
if I'm ever doing anything without that, and outside of that, I don't think worn my sneakers maybe I've worn my sneakers maybe 6 times outside of my workouts since we moved
Mm,
to Florida. It's
that's
always
awesome.
sandals or bare feet.
Well,
So
they're making
but
sneakers now that are wide, that have like a almost like a clown foot on the front to allow your toes. So there's
yeah.
companies that make those kind of
Well, the
sneakers that,
Vibram Five Fingers too, but then
yeah.
they somehow got sued, or there's a bunch of stuff that happened with that
Oh,
company. But
oh,
I had the Vibram shoes, which looked ridiculous. I've size 13, and I'm sure you have big feet too.
yeah,
They look like literal clown shoes,
yeah.
but it did feel much better to wear those.
Sure, sure,
Um, but I would definitely say now that we live in Florida, or even if I lived in a colder, climate, I'd probably wear sandals as much as I could just to
sure.
take them off quickly and not have to deal with them. So
I
yeah,
use
this has been
these Jesus sandals. They're Bedrock sandals is what they're called.
I
They've
gotta
got
get those.
The Vibram connector or the Vibram sole. And
Yeah.
then they've just got like they've got some adjustments here. They're
Those
great
always
for
cut my heels up though. That's why I just have the regular flip flops.
yeah, I don't notice it so much because I just adjusted the strap a little bit and it makes a big difference. But they're really comfortable. I wear them a lot. I mean, you can see my foot mark in them,
I can see
but
it.
I wear them. I wear them quite a bit, and
Like
the
a
only thing
shot of
that I
torn on your shoe.
yeah the only thing I don't like about those is if like I made the mistake one time. We were going kayaking, and we were taking the kids. The kids were in tubes, and I was kayaking, and I thought, well, I'll wear my sandals and I'll just wear them, and then I don't have to worry about stepping on rocks and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, think about it. They're strapped on really good. So every time I stepped in the water, it was a drag. And it was like wearing a big flipper. And I was like, oh my God, this is killing me. I wish I wouldn't have wore these because it was just dragging every time. And it made it so much harder to walk because to help the kids and whatever. But it was other than that, I think they're great. And I wear those in the summertime. I wear them all the time.
Very nice. I have active recovery shoes. I still have to do a review on them, but doing a review on a shoe, who knows?
Yeah.
They're like Crocs, but they sent them to me while I was recovering because they said this will help you like
Mm,
take some of the pain and the impact away from walking. And I never got a chance to do it. It's called Cane footwear, and
mm,
they sent it to me, and they look like every bit of what Crocs are,
sure.
but they're way more comfortable and ergonomic. And I even considered wearing those to work out because I just wear
Mm,
my short socks with them, but they're very cushioned and they're very nice, and then they don't feel like and they're wide in the front, like you
got it.
said. So I don't feel like my toes are scrunched together so much. So there's a lot of stuff you can do. You get into like just to kind of take it home a little bit. Like we don't want people to be confused because we are trying to simplify everything. We talked about red light therapy, grounding, all this stuff. Um, you can get quite confused with especially, and God bless him, he's smarter than I am. That Ben Greenfield can
Oh, sure.
overcomplicate, and the biohacking. You get into a very much a scary sector or section of health, wellness, and fitness with the biohacking because when biohacking sort of infers is there's a shortcut to
Yeah.
doing what you get. There's shortcuts. That's what I hear when I hear
Right.
biohacking. It's like shortcut instead of the slow and steady, consistent, like your book, longevity. I
Yeah.
feel like now there's some benefits to biohacking that do saunas and cold plunges and grounding and getting outdoors, very basic stuff. But I feel like they really complicated, I think, for a way to make themselves feel, I don't know, more credible, or
Sure.
people need to lean on them more because it's so complicated all of a sudden. Do you ever
Yeah.
get that feeling from the people like
Totally.
that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's figuring out new ways, but new ways to optimize are I think that's what a lot of these guys are trying to do. And the fitness industry is so fascinated by how to optimize, which is very, very good. And like all of it, I'm sure is valid. But like we've talked about before, you can't optimize garbage. Like you're just making better garbage. So if the foundation of your fitness is garbage, you're optimizing garbage. It's not going to work. And so you have to shore up that foundation and all the things that you can do. The optimization and the cool things aren't going to shore up the foundation, but there are some foundational things specifically in the outdoor fitness realm and just regular fitness. You're focused on the foundational health, the foundational fitness, and then we can talk about optimizing. And does everybody need to go out and start grounding? No, not they don't. Just start moving your body. Like that's going to be more impactful. But I think with the optimization piece of this and where it can get in the weeds and get overwhelming for people, and please don't get overwhelmed, everybody listening to this. Uh, we're not trying to overwhelm you. That stuff is like going from 85% to 87%. But if you're at 10%, you can make drastic improvement by just moving your body and get to 50% healthy, or you know what I mean? And there's so much bigger things that you can do. And we're not trying to get into the weeds. And so the outdoor fitness, keep it simple, go for a walk, go for a run, get on your bicycle, go for a ride, get in a boat, go for a row. Don't use a electric. That's not much of a workout. You know, like if you're going for a row or like on the boat, just use the paddles, try it, see how it's going for you. So just keep it simple when it comes to outdoor fitness. And that's for me, there's lots of upside and benefit. Don't get in the weeds, just do it and move your body outside and start living healthier and enjoy the world that we live in.
I couldn't, I can't follow up on anything. So I'm going to you want me to close it out or you want to close it out?
We can fight over it, but I mean, I think I need to practice. So why don't you let me practice?
Okay. You're better.
All right, everybody.
You think you're bad, but you're not. Go ahead.
I got to get better at it. So anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in to this week's episode of the Big Fitness Show. We love having these conversations. It's a great opportunity for us to share and explore some ideas and improve our fitness as well. And if we can impart some knowledge on a few people, been getting some good feedback on the show. So as always, comment, leave us a review, let us know what you think. I've got a couple of my buddies that are listening to the show, my friends that are starting to make some changes. I got one guy, JT Energy, he's a wrestler, has started to make some changes to his diet. He cut out caffeine and is making some changes. So the shows are helping us and helping other people. So it's very encouraging for us to keep going. So as always, like, comment, subscribe, all the things. Check our links in the description if you want to support the show, support Stevie, subscribe to Stevie's channel, subscribe to my channel. And yeah, we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks, everybody.